Picture the most powerful man alive, walking straight into a room full of people who want him dead. He doesn't know it. His wife knows something's wrong. She begged him to stay home. She'd had a nightmare so bad she woke up shaking. Even a fortune teller had warned him. Watch out for this exact day. But he goes anyway, because he's Julius Caesar. And honestly, who's going to touch him? He conquered Gaul. He crossed the Rubicon. He beat everyone who ever stood against him. And then 60 men pull knives out from under their robes and stab him 23 times. Right there on the Senate floor. Some of them were people he'd forgiven, people he'd promoted. So here's the question I can't stop thinking about. What if he just stayed home? What if Caesar never died that day? Because here's the thing that gets me. It almost didn't happen. This wasn't fate. Caesar woke up feeling off that morning. His wife had really rattled him, and for a while, he actually decided not to go. The whole plot was seconds away from falling apart. If he stays in bed even one more hour, the plotters panic, someone talks, the secret gets out, and the whole thing dies right there. But then, one of the conspirators, a guy Caesar actually trusted, shows up at his house and sweet talks him into it. Tells him the Senate's waiting to honor him. Strokes his ego, and that's all it took. Caesar gets up, throws on his robes, and walks out the door. One conversation. That's the whole margin between the world we got and a completely different one. So let's mess with it. He listens to his wife. He stays in, the knives never come out, everyone loses their nerve, and the plot just quietly evaporates. Now what? Well, first you've got to know what Caesar was about to do, because it's wild. He wasn't kicking back, enjoying his power. He was days away from marching east to take on the Parthian Empire, one of the biggest campaigns anyone had ever dreamed up. If he pulls it off, Rome stretches into places no Roman army ever reached. The whole map of the ancient world gets redrawn by a guy who, at 60-something, was just getting warmed up. But the real earthquake is what happens to Rome itself. Here's the irony. The men who killed him swore they were saving the Republic. They did the exact opposite. His murder didn't save anything. It kicked off years of vicious civil war. And out of all that blood climbed his adopted heir, this cold, patient young man who ends up becoming Rome's first real emperor. The Republic those assassins died for, gone anyway. So flip it. Caesar lives. He's already basically a king, minus the crown. Give him a few more years and he just makes it official, calm, deliberate. No civil war needed. Rome becomes an empire the smooth way, instead of clawing there through a decade of slaughter. Maybe a stronger one too. And this is where it stops being about Rome and starts being about, well, everything. Think about who never gets their shot if Caesar doesn't die. That famous heir of his, he only rises because Caesar's death rips open a hole at the top. No murder, no hole, no reason for that kid to inherit the world. A whole dynasty that ran Rome for the next 100 years. Might just never exist. And these are the emperors who were in charge while entire religions were being born, spreading across the world. Every one of them ended up on that throne because of the exact way Caesar died. Tug that one thread, and the next 500 years start to unravel, and it keeps going. This is the part that makes my head spin a little. Rome didn't just grab land. It handed the future its languages, its laws, its roads, its religion, the whole skeleton of what became the Western world. So if Caesar living means the empire forms differently, grows differently, cracks apart at some other time, then everything stacked on top of it shifts too. The borders of countries that exist right now, the languages people are literally speaking today, which faiths took over and which ones faded out. The world you woke up in got quietly shaped by one specific chain of events, and it all traces back to whether a few men managed to corner one guy in a hallway. But okay, let me be fair here. Because history's never that tidy. There's a solid case for the other side. Caesar was old for his era. He was sick, seriously sick. Even if he dodges the knives that day, he might have dropped dead on his own within a couple years. And Rome ends up facing the same succession mess anyway, just a little later. And all the stuff pulling the Republic apart, the corruption, the inequality, the generals hungry for power, that doesn't magically vanish because one man survived. In this version, Caesar wasn't the reason Rome changed. He was just the face of a change that was already coming, no matter what. Spare him or stab him. Rome still turns into an empire. Different names on the thrones, maybe. same story. So, which one's true? Did one nervous decision on one ordinary day bend the whole future of civilization? Or was Caesar just surfing a wave that was going to crash the same way, no matter who was standing on it? And the honest, kind of unsettling answer is, nobody actually knows. That's what keeps this story alive after 2,000 years. Because it means the world you live in might have balanced on something as small and as human as whether a tired, sick man let himself get talked out of listening to his wife. And that's the thing I want to leave you with. We love imagining that the huge turning points in history were these massive, obvious, unstoppable forces. That something as big as the fall of the Republic had to come down to armies and destiny. But zoom in, and what do you actually find? A wife's bad dream. A warning nobody took seriously, and one friend at the door and in saying just the right thing, at just the wrong moment. Empires don't always turn on battles. Sometimes, they turn on a single, small choice a person almost made differently, which honestly makes you look at your own life a little differently. Doesn't it? Because you never really know which of your small, forgettable choices is quietly steering something you won't understand for years.